Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user Will It Ever Be Enough? Me, 26 female, with my boyfriend, 30 male of 2 years. My self-esteem is shattered, our relationship is sexless, and I'm scared I will never be enough. Hi Reddit, I'm at a loss here. I'm sorry if this is wrong and rambly, but I feel so shattered and confused. I've been with Mike for almost 2 years, and before I get into the specific details, I want to preface this by saying that he is a wonderful man. He's kind, friendly, warm, intelligent, attractive, ambitious, and successful. Things most women want from a man. I love his friends and family, and they love me in return. We spend loads of time with them, and he has never risen his voice in anger against me, nor has he ever balked at talking our issues through. The problems, I think, are stemming from the way we're communicating. Sometimes he sends me conflicting messages, which can come across as condescending, or it's like he just ignores what I think and want. Or it could be that I'm simply not good enough. I honestly don't know anymore. Plus, there's the sex and weight gain. I used to work in a very hectic office environment 60 plus hours a week, and I knew that lifestyle was not compatible with my long-term goals. I want to eventually marry, have children, and devote my life to being a wife and mother until my children are old enough for me to resume employment and to resume contributing financially. Though I would still like to keep working from home so that I can continue to take care of the household and my husband. To achieve that end, I quit my stressful job and now work from home and have been for the past 3 years. I make an average of $50,000 to $70,000 a year, which is decent but not outstanding in the large North American city we live in. Mike works an extremely hectic and demanding high-level job making $150,000 annually, and it's only going to go up from here. He loves his career, he's passionate about what he does, and I'm extremely supportive of this even if it means he's gone away on business 2 weeks every month. Despite the big gap in our salaries, we contribute almost equally to the relationship in terms of the things we do together. I'd say it's 60-40. He's never insisted on this, but it was I who was adamant from the get-go, to ensure fairness. Note, I dated a wealthy man previously, and he would constantly throw it in my face how I couldn't contribute to our lifestyle and was beholden to him, so I'm a little scarred when it comes to letting anyone take care of me financially. Anyway, I'm very traditional. We don't live together, but because he travels so much and works such crazy hours, I make sure he's taken care of as best as I know how. I have a key to his place and I'm responsible for 90% of the cleaning and cooking, by my own choice, I want to reiterate. Because I work a less demanding job and I want to see him content and taken care of since he's constantly tired and jet-lagged. He always tells me how much he loves this part of me. He says it makes him feel like a man and feel loved. This in turn makes me happy, of course. But now, he doesn't seem to feel this way anymore. He has a lot of female friends, none of them exes, most of them have boyfriends, and they all make in the same salary range as he does, as do his male friends. But he seems to have started comparing me to the women in his group. They're all buying houses with their significant others, expensive cars, etc. But because I'm self-employed, I will need a substantially higher down payment or co-signer for a bank to be willing to take a chance on me. Houses are $1 million on average in my city, and not even that nice at that price. Our sex life has slowly deteriorated in the last 6 months. He never initiates sex. Foreplay is non-existent. He seems to not really know how to do sex. It was like this from the start, but I was determined that by showing him what I liked and being positive in the bedroom, he would eventually match up. Well, that never happened. He brought it up with me last month approximately. I was so shocked but happy because I was terrified of wounding his ego and pride and making the situation even worse by bringing it up first. A mistake, I know. And he gave me a list of things that turned him on. Types of lingerie. He wanted me to initiate more, which I feel like I already always do, but whatever. I guess be more obvious about it, and etc, etc, etc. Well, I jumped right into this. I started oral or sex right before dinner. He always passes out, too full, right after eating. I greeted him from his last business trip in lingerie and heels, etc, etc. But it's still not enough. I'm trying to be playful and seem into what he's doing, but for example, he hasn't reciprocated oral since the first month of our dating, and I'm starting to have to take care of myself quickly while he cleans up in the bathroom afterward, or I can't sleep from frustration. He's also gained a lot of weight, and it's not attractive to see a gut on such a young and attractive man. He hides it well because he's tall and has well-tailored suits, but the moment that shirts come off, there it is. I'm in the gym lifting weights, doing yoga, or doing something outdoorsy constantly, so this is getting frustrating for me. How I look is extremely important for me and him. He won't hesitate to tell me when I'm not dressed or done up to impress for the occasion. What will he look like in 10 years? Why does he have to order dessert all the time like a freaking child? Or drink so much? Or make a snack because dinner is taking too long? All he makes are excuses, and I'm trying not to nag, but this is not attractive. Anyways, last week he sat me down to talk about our relationship. He's usually very considerate of his words, but this time he uttered a phrase with such contempt that my self-esteem feels shattered. Basically, he told me the reason our sex life was so awful was that he was attracted to successful, ambitious career women and that he didn't want to marry a housewife. Ugh, writing that out feels like someone is stabbing me in my heart. I've told him from the beginning that I'm not career focused. I'm intelligent, educated, well-read, and have a myriad of hobbies and interests and passions that ran the gamut. It's not like I'm sitting at home baking pies and doing laundry 24/7. I have a life, I'm independent, but I don't want to be a CEO. So I started crying and he immediately felt remorseful, but I can't stop those words from running through my head because I feel like I'll never measure up or be good enough for him until I'm making the same kind of money that he and his other friends are. What do I do or say? If I'm coming across as passive in the relationship, I'm not. I'm very opinionated and often stubborn, but I'm also extremely careful to not say anything that could potentially hurt him or his pride. I've messed up in this regard from time to time, I'm sure. I'm not perfect, and neither is he. But what the hell is going on here? Is this my future? To have men despise me for not wanting to be a CEO for making less money than them? Is this a big city phenomenon? I'm honestly so confused and lost. Well, OP, in my opinion, it's not you or him. It's both of you. You guys are just incompatible. You guys are attracted to different things. You're not into the high-powered career thing. That's cool. That is your prerogative, is what you don't want to do, and you're focusing on what you do want to do. He, on the other hand, is apparently attracted to another type of women. Sucks the way he said it, of course, and it hurts, but it just means that you're not for him and he's not for you. From the way that you described yourself, I find absolutely nothing wrong with you. You have clear goals and you know what you want. That is something not a lot of people have, actually. So I would say congratulations on knowing yourself and what you want and working towards that. If your boyfriend wants some high-powered career woman that makes all the money, well then let him go find it and you just move on with your life and you'll eventually meet somebody who loves you for you and not for what you represent to them. The only thing that you can do wrong is stay in a relationship that, regardless of anything that you do, will always be frustrating for you and your partner. And what do you guys think about this whole situation? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Walk Through This says, quote, basically he told me the reason our sex life was so awful was because he was attracted to successful, ambitious career women and that he didn't want to marry a housewife, end quote. Wow, this guy seems like an a-hole. It almost sounds as if he said, I'm not attracted to you because you don't make enough money. Dear, from what you described above, talking to him about his needs and being supportive, the problem isn't you. It's that he doesn't accept you as you are. There is nothing at all wrong with the choices you've made. You've made them for yourself, and moreover, you've made those choices so that you can be happy. If you made other choices, you wouldn't be happy, and the person you were in a relationship with wouldn't be happy either. If he won't accept the choices you've made about your life, and it sounds like he doesn't, then that's his problem, and he can take that problem to his next relationship. Lady Gremlin says, it sounds like your boyfriend wants something that you don't want to offer. His preference for a woman that is more career-minded doesn't make him a bad guy, just like you preferring to stay home doesn't make you stupid or worthless. But it does mean you're fundamentally incompatible on a very basic level. I know you're asking for advice on what you should do to work this out, but sadly, I think the only thing that you can do is break up. I know you love him and I know you've invested 2 years into this relationship, but sometimes that's just not enough. The good news is that there is someone out there, many someones actually, who will love what you bring to the table. You just need to go find him. Lifting Breh says, "It seriously broke my heart to read this post. You seem to be going out of your way to make things work and make your boyfriend happy, but unfortunately, he simply doesn't view you as his equal. I speak from experience when I say, do not let such a relationship persist. I've experienced and seen too many times when one party to the relationship has all the leverage and hangs it over the head of the other, leaving them to believe they'll never be good enough no matter what they do. To put it bluntly, this guy doesn't deserve you. You deserve to be with someone who appreciates you and considers you his equal on every level, even if there is financial disparity." And Opie responds, "Oh, thank you so much, but don't feel bad." Smile face. "Relationships are 50-50 or are supposed to be. I'm obviously contributing many negative aspects into our current struggle without even knowing it. It can't just be the career and money stuff." Additional information from Opie's comments. I was genuinely surprised that every comment basically stated I needed to break up with him. I was shocked at the people calling my boyfriend selfish and worse things until I responded to a few comments with the things he does for me that I consider selfless or above and beyond, and they pointed out my examples were actually just the basic tenets of any good relationship. And for some reason that never occurred to me, that treating me with affection, respect, and love were basics. I have no idea what that says about me. I've racked my brain trying to find times he has done anything for me that was truly going out of his way or inconveniencing himself, and I can't come up with any that don't revolve around birthdays, anniversaries, Christmas, etc. Total shock. If anything, I remembered more of the times I needed a favor and he couldn't or wouldn't come through. I have to say that I found it mildly amusing how many commenters assumed that having traditional values was mutually exclusive with being an independent woman who had a fulfilling life outside of her relationship. I have more hobbies, some kind extreme, than most people I know. I just also enjoy taking care of the man in my life and being responsible for domestic duties. And my ultimate goal has never been to get married and then stop working for the rest of my life, but it has always been to have the kind of family where my husband, children, and home come first, and that doesn't include daycare, nannies, housekeepers, egg McMuffins, and takeout. My goals remain the same. I have no desire to change my values, goals, or ideals. Compromise some behaviors? Yes, but not on things that are intrinsically part of who I am. My communication style with my boyfriend is awful. My assumptions that leading by example as to the type of relationship or sex I expect and want should be enough has clearly never worked, and I can't believe it took me 2 years to figure out something so basic. Someone pointed out that his desire for me to initiate in sex might actually mean dominance, and if this is the case, we are very sexually incompatible. Not that I haven't started to figure that out. I'm going to try this just to see the response from him, but if he were to expect this as our norm instead of an occasional thing, then it's just not gonna happen. He needs to be with a woman who is actually sexually dominant as part of her nature. I've come to realize that our relationship is more of a friendship, and the friendship part is great. That's why it's hard for me to see negative and selfish behavior when it comes to romantic things. We have a lot of fun together. I love his family and friends. I think he has a hopelessly naive view of love and relationships. I am his longest relationship. His last one, with a busy career woman, ended for reasons he can't explain. When we had the whole exes talk, he had remarkably little insight into why any of his exes left him or how he contributed to the deterioration of the relationship. He kept saying, "I don't know," and I believe he was being honest. The lack of self-awareness should have been a red flag. Another red flag should have been how quickly he fell in love with me and pushed for a relationship. Talked about the future, wanted us to move in together, etc. Maybe these are not the hallmarks of an emotionally mature man. I'm so glad I stood my ground and kept my apartment. When he gets back from his current trip and after he's eaten and slept and feels more relaxed, I'm going to bring up a lot of these things and do it in a relaxed, non-confrontational manner. I feel hurt, angry and resentful now, but I'm not going to be the kind of person who starts screaming at someone or hurting them in turn. I'm grateful and surprised at the comments, PMs, etc. that I've received here. It's been wonderful. I feel a lot better and more clear-headed. My friends are amazing, but I find it disrespectful to drag my relationship issues into public and make them think less of him through some of these things because, despite everything, he doesn't deserve that. Thank you, Reddit. Alright, well, the community spoke and OP had a lot to listen to, and apparently she got some really good insight. So now, let's move on to the update to see how OP addressed this whole situation and what happened next. Hi Reddit, thank you so much for the replies and PMs. I was fairly surprised at the support I received and the kind words, and some funny ones. Really helped. It gave me a lot to think about. So, Mike and I broke up. He came back from his business trip, and after giving him a couple of days to unwind and get over the jet lag, I took us on a weekend trip up north to one of our favorite hiking spots. I figured being in the tranquility of the wilderness with no city distractions would be the best place for us to have the talk. After we were both relaxed and open, I told him that I had been the only person initiating our sex life for countless months, and I didn't understand his insistence that I was doing no initiation at all. I also told him that the lack of any foreplay basically made me feel extremely frustrated and disconnected from him emotionally, and made sex occasionally painful. He still insisted that I didn't initiate, so I asked him to give me specific examples from his past with his exes on how they would initiate with him. I told him to be candid and then grit my effing teeth and listened. He told me one story about being out with his friends and some new girl in the group coming up to him, pinning his arms down by his sides, then licking the side of his face and kissing him aggressively while everyone watched. Now, never mind the fact that if a strange man ever presumed to do something like that to me, my knee would be buried sharply into his balls within seconds, or that, ew, gross. But I pointed out to him that that wasn't so much initiation as it was flat out dominance. She may as well have peed in a circle around him and screamed at warning and any approaching females for F's sake. He then went on to give me many more examples of women sexually dominating him. My mind was going to explode at this point, but I pointed out to him that initiation and dominance were two completely different things, and other than liking me on top during sex, he never once said anything about wanting me to be more controlling or aggressive in the bedroom. Never. He couldn't really make eye contact with me anymore and his voice got kinda small, but I did get him to agree that what he really effing liked was not so much me greeting him at the door in lingerie and heels and then giving him oral on my knees, but me pinning him down and basically using his body for my own pleasure. Ugh, no thanks. I could be down for that with a partner on the odd occasion, but not every night and certainly not with someone like him who is so selfish in bed. I like dominant men, and that's not going to change. Then I brought up this hurtful comment about our sex life stagnating because he didn't want to marry a housewife and that I couldn't get over that he had said that to me. He truly did feel horrible and regretful and apologized again. He reiterated how much he loved how traditional I was, what an amazing mother and wife I would make, how I made him feel more like a man than anyone else, how well I took care of him, how his family and friends adored me, etc., etc. Insisted it wasn't about me making less money than him. Didn't really buy it, to be honest, and here's where the conversation just got pointless. I tried again to find out what ended his previous serious relationships, what the tipping point was. And other than something about his ex working too many hours and not having enough time for him, his resounding response to everything was, I don't know. You're a 30-year-old man. For better or worse, our romantic relationships play a huge role in shaping us as human beings. How do you lack the self-awareness or analytical ability to not know why your relationships fell apart? How is this possible? And then it hit me. He was selfish, but selfish in the way that immature children and teenagers are. He wanted instant gratification. His idea of love and relationships came from idealism and romantic movies, not from reality and hard work and sacrifice. He wanted the benefits and the butterflies in his stomach feeling, and until he grows up, all of his relationships will fall apart and he won't be able to understand why. This is too long already, but basically, we broke up. There was lots of crying, I felt like someone had stuck a knife in my chest and was twisting it. After a few days of depression and Netflix, I booked a last-minute flight to another country, so I spent over a week in the wilderness climbing, hiking, and camping. No people, no distractions, it was amazing. Anyways, I still feel like crap to be honest, and I miss him, but I'm going to take a long break from dating and work on myself so that when I meet the right guy, I'll be an even better version of myself for him, but he's going to be amazing too. We all need to work on ourselves to a degree. Mostly, I just don't want to jump into another relationship with this baggage and hurt some poor guy who doesn't deserve it. Also, I'll be vetting them more rigorously now. Thanks again, Reddit. Well, OP, I'm gonna count this as an extremely happy update. You guys broke up, which was the right thing to do, and you are incredibly aware of what's ahead of you and what you need to do. So congratulations on all the growth and realization. Take care, OP, and thank you for sharing. Now, I know the thumbnail says one story video, but come on, stay with me for a short mood booster. And it's from the subreddit Malicious Compliance by the user Neon Chimp. Nope, get your lawyer. So, I work at a place that rents storage units, and we have a customer who is a crusty old bitch, wants to complain about everything. In fact, he complained about crap that straight up wasn't true, and when presented with a printout of evidence he was lying, he called us all a bunch of sons of bitches and left. Anyways, today he came in for payment, and when I gave him his total, he became belligerent, stating he has always paid a certain dollar amount and will not pay a cent more. Now, unfortunately, we had to raise prices back in January. It sucks, but I'm not the owner, just a desk monkey, so I don't ask questions. I did, however, personally fold and stuff all the envelopes with the notice we had to increase our rent. So I know he got it. This guy has never paid the increased rate and is falling behind. Today, I was blessed with the holiest of bitchiness. I will be speaking to a lawyer about this, which frankly is music to my ears. Every time he wanted to complain, I responded, "You have threatened legal action. I will only communicate with you through our attorneys." After a few times of this, I think he realized he effed up, but I held firm and annotated in the notes his threat and my refusal to help. Update. Guess who called up less than an hour later, all apologetic, wanting to make payment? Took the payment with a crap-eating grin. Hopefully, he won't pull that crap anymore. Ah, beautiful, OP. Nothing to add, just beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.